Hi everybody, Craig here. Welcome to episode 26 of my 6-player free-for-all Age of Wonders 3 playthrough series. In this series, I'm playing against 5 Emperor AI that are each on their own separate teams, and I'm playing as the Orc Warlord, Crognash the Brutal. In our last episode, we started to really gather our troops here for the impending siege of the throne city of Anorak, who is our Tigran sorcerer opponent. And then in our last episode, we also actually engaged in the siege of... We're just going to jump to the Shadow Realm here. We engaged in the siege of Sagan, which is the throne city of Crador Eulora. And unfortunately, we were not successful in that siege, as we kind of had a hodgepodge stack of units, just sort of miscellaneous ones that I was able to kind of wrangle into the area. And we were, however, able to eliminate, you can see the item right here, one of Crador's heroes, the a Theocrat hero, I believe it was. And then we also whittled down some of his troops here. You can see that he does still have a Juggernaut and a cannon left, but we really did put the hurt on him. And now we've got Crognash himself leading a very powerful stack, along with a number of other units here that are all coming to join in the siege here, so we can take out Crador, hopefully. And reminder that Crador is currently in the Void, although it's most likely he's going to be coming back here when the turn flips over. And then meanwhile, we still don't know where our Tigran sorcerer opponent is, and we also have no idea who our other opponent is, so we haven't encountered our third and final opponent as well. So lots of things to do this episode. We're going to probably do some sieging, that's for sure. But before we dive into this episode, I did just want to give a couple of quick shout-outs to a few individuals who left some excellent comments on the last episode. The first of those comments comes from Casper Eklund. Now, in the last episode, when I sieged the city in the Shadow Realm here belonging to Crador, I had sort of asked, you know, I put the question out to you guys, and I had asked, did you think that this was a good idea to engage in this siege? I was sort of having doubts as I was doing it. I think in the end, in my opinion, it ended up being worth it. And Casper agreed. He actually thought it was a good idea to try the siege because there was the potential, if I had somehow managed to eke out a victory against all odds, I would have actually eliminated Crador from the game, as this is his throne city here, as you can see. And he's in the Void, meaning that had we won that battle, it would have all been over for Crador. So Casper agreed with my decision to try out the battle. However, he suggested that something I might have tried instead of the approach that I did use is that I could have used Swap Location, the spell Swap Location, on my Bone Dragons to basically get them in position such that it would sort of draw the Juggernauts out a bit from the walls and give me an opportunity to kind of hopefully have done a little bit better. So Casper wasn't sure if that would have made the difference in the battle, as in if I would have won, but something I could have tried. And again, I think that's actually a great idea. So there were lots of different approaches that could have been taken in that battle. I'm overall pretty happy with how it panned out, but again, I think that swap locations would have been a good choice too. Something else Casper pointed out here is that, and I'm actually going to do this right now. So something that I can do here with this particular city, again, this is Lemur, which is the throne of Anorak. Now, Casper pointed out that I could use my flying unit, so in this case, like my Draconian Flyer, or even Dominus himself, and I could do a little bit more scouting, because as you can see, part of the city is still shrouded in mist there. So, let's see here if we take Dominus and just move a couple of spots here. Yeah, so it does look like this is kind of all there is guarding the throne here. You can see that we've got 2 Sphinx, an Apprentice, and then 2 Mystics. So really not all that well defended. We should be able to put the hurt on this city with kind of what we've got here, and I think that's actually going to go quite well for us. Now, unfortunately, this stack is going to be unable to join in the party here in one turn. However, between this unit here, who I can actually move up a little closer if I wanted, but this unit I can get in range. My Ogre here I can get involved. And then same goes for Dominus and his stack. So I think with the miscellaneous units I've got, and then with Dominus' stack itself, I think we'll be in good shape to be able to take the throne there. Hopefully without too much trouble. Again, assuming that reinforcements don't arrive in the next turn. So great suggestion there from Casper to use one of my flying units to do a little bit more scouting there for the throne. The next comment comes from Gladden, and Gladden pointed out that in his opinion, I kind of have the upper hand in this game, and things are really going my way. And I agree with Gladden. I think, you know, provided I continue to make fairly reasonable decisions here, I should be able to continue the momentum that I've gained, and I should be able to win this game. But I don't want to get cocky or get ahead of myself, so I do need to continue to keep making intelligent choices as best as I can, of course, and not get overconfident, because again, as has happened to me previous times, anytime you get overconfident, it tends to kind of bite you in the butt. So we're going to try to avoid that. Gladden also left a suggestion for potentially a future playthrough series, and he suggested that something I could do as a combination would be a halfling dreadnought. And this is something I actually hadn't even really considered trying, but Gladden suggested it, and there's a few reasons for it. One of them is that halflings don't really do very well in the Shadow Realm. However, the dreadnought actually has a couple of ways to sort of mitigate the unhappiness that can befall the halflings when they're not in the terrain that they like. So, in any case, I think that's a really interesting suggestion there, and in the next few episodes, I'm going to ask you guys for suggestions and comments on what you'd like to see in future playthroughs. As we've covered, I think on this channel, I've covered a good number of race and classes, but I haven't done a dreadnought. I haven't played as halflings. I don't think I've played as goblins yet. And I also haven't done a rogue. So there's a few things left that I haven't done. So let me know in the comments what you guys are interested in seeing. And of course, I'll ask again as we get closer to the end of this series. But big thank you to Casper and to Gladden for the excellent comments. All right, let's get started here. So we had a few things left to do before we finish off this turn. And we're going to just think about kind of getting ourselves set up here. We also have to remember that in 4 turns, we're going to have this pesky hero, the Archdruid hero, and his dire penguin army besieging our cities, most likely. So that's going to be quite annoying to deal with. Now, in this Draconian village, it would be great to get Embrace Darkness going on there. The only problem is I don't know if I want to spend the casting points doing that. I really would like to, though, if I'm going to produce units in that city, which I definitely plan to. So I am going to start doing Embrace Darkness, and that would mean that I don't want to produce a unit just yet. Instead, it would be probably more beneficial for me to work on a city upgrade instead. We have 83 production income, so something like an observatory would probably be a decent choice. We could just do the shrine in a single turn, but I think we'll do the observatory. That'll expand our domain, and the city's going to grow in 1 turn, so that'll get this crystal tree into the city's domain, hopefully. Okay, over to Lyrian. Now we're running kind of low on gold, so probably just going to do merchandise for kind of our remainder cities here, I think. Over to Bittercrest now. Our new orc outpost in this case. Yeah, we're just going to do... Now, in Toldran, again, we've been using Toldran to make Manticore Riders. We might need to hold off on that for a turn here. Just because, again, we are a little bit low on gold. Now, I have this Manticore Rider, and I can't remember sort of what my plan was in terms of where to send that Manticore Rider. Again, we want to... I'm sending this stack up here to do some clearing, as there's some structures over here. Probably spawning some undead that eventually attacked Lilac. I'm not entirely confident that I've cleared everything out around Lilac, so we're going to send that stack up there. But the question then becomes, what do we do with this Manticore Rider? Let's just jump into the Shadow Realm real fast and just double check. We could send him in through here, and he could join up with this stack, who currently has 5 units, but that's probably a little bit of overkill. We don't necessarily need another Manticore Rider there. However, we could send him up to join this stack and help in clearing out these Heart of the Glade structures. You know what? I think maybe that's what we'll do just for now, in the short term. Now, over to Lilac here. Again, I think in the rest of our cities, we're pretty much just going to do merchandise. Over to Srock. I think kind of the same approach there. And on Boku, we're going to do the exact same thing. Crypt of Unlife. That's not really going to benefit me. Maybe we'll do a Filth Pit, actually, because again, that might help us in the battle here against these Shadow Demon opponents there. It's going to take 2 turns, so by then we'll have our units in place to actually initiate the battle. Bleg now, we're really low on cash, so we're going to just continue throwing up merchandise on the rest of our cities here. And this unit can just hang out. Trugruk. Probably going to be sending Trugruk into the water, I'm imagining here. Again, we were using this ferry to do some scouting for us. And unfortunately, this unit just cannot... Really nothing it can do to get in there more quickly, so... Now this little guy, this Dwarf Firstborn, was tunneling to open the pathway up for Hininia here, so... Fortunately, not enough to keep going. We've got one more little chunk that needs to be chunked away there. So we'll just tell that unit to chill out, and we'll end our turn there. Okay, so we are being attacked. Yeah, Krator is back, and our little boar is getting attacked there. And you know what? We're going to do this one manually, and I'm going to surrender the battle to rob them of any potential experience here. There we go. So that at least prevents experience gain there from any units involved on Krator's part. That does confirm for us that Krator is now, in fact, back from the Shadow Realm. So that means we're going to have to kill Krator and take his throne. Previously, with Krator in the Void, we could have, as I said, just taken the throne. Let's pop up and see if anything changed at... Yeah, okay, so we did have a unit get produced here. Looks like another Sphinx was produced, so... This battle will not be easy, as we don't have a ton of available units to assist in this battle, so... We're going to have to be careful. We definitely don't want to get overconfident here. And again, we have strong units, but... They are not... Tier 4 units. We have just Tier 3s, primarily, in that stack, so... we're going to take our little untouchables here and continue kiting these Shadow Demons. As long as we have to keep control of the city, basically. But I suspect within the next probably 2 or so turns, I think we're going to have the city back in our control. Okay, and again, we're just going to move ourselves back in that corner. Now, the question is going to be, so we have 3 Sphinx. I'm just thinking about that Tigran city that we're going to have to siege. We have 3 Sphinx, and then we have 3 support units with magic ranged attacks. So we're really going to have to watch out, because there's going to be quite a bit of potential damage coming our way as we get into range of the walls. And we have a few units that can actually bypass the walls. So Dominus can, and so can his... Blight Elemental, who is extremely powerful. So we may have to rely kind of on those units to maybe go in and disrupt a little bit. I obviously don't want to get Dominus to put Dominus in any unnecessary risk, but we may need to kind of use him to harass a little bit. And thankfully, he's actually now acquired Jetah's Rags, but we already have him holding the Robes of the Ancient Priest. So let's take a look at the 2. So this one provides 40% Blight Protection, +2 defense, and 10 hit points. Meanwhile, this one provides healing, +20 health, or excuse me, just healing and +2 resistance. I'm kind of inclined to keep the healing, because I think the healing is very powerful. We've already got maxed out Blight Protection. So let's jump around. I think when I sent those robes to... Yeah, we'll send this to Hininia. She does have full Blight Protection, however... would still be of benefit to her, because I think everybody else has at least some chest protection. Yep. So I guess we'll send this to Hininia. Thankfully, Hininia is actually very close, so that's of benefit. When I sent this to Dominus, he actually didn't have a chest piece, and then we got that other one after that. We did have a race governance level up here for orcs, so let's take a look. The military is that our shock troopers gain fearsome. We really aren't using shock troopers at all. Versus the Dark Citadel is 100 gold cheaper and generates an additional plus 10 mana and plus 10 gold. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about that one just because we really aren't using Orc shock troopers. So I think I'm going to go for the economic upgrade. I actually do really like our shock troopers having fearsome, but again, I'm not using them, so we're going to take the economic upgrade. Okay, we do have a quest available here from a little human city. End the terror at the mine. We really don't have any units in the region. However, I suspect we'll be able to get up there in time to do it. So let's accept. So we got to go in there and clear out that mine for them. This little guy was doing some scouting for us, of course. Still on the hunt for that third opponent. Domain invasion is just those shadow demons continuing to pester us. We had a number of units produced here, so we did have Prim produce a Manticore Rider, and Cinia Rez produced a Wraith King, which is excellent for us. Let's just double check. Did we? Yeah, we've thrown Embrace Darkness on Carbanox, so that was good. I think what we'll do, though, is before we really do much else, let's engage this battle, because we may need the casting points before I start going wild and doing anything else. So let's kind of jump in there and see what we can accomplish with what we've got. And again, we're unfortunately not quite going to be able to make it in there. Yeah, and same story here with our Cadaver. Just not quite able to make it into the battle. Alright, let's engage this. Yeah, I think we have a pretty good shot at winning this one. We do have to watch out for the net here. That could be annoying if it's ensnaring our units here, but... Alright. So now let's think about spells we can cast. Probably worth doing Summon Siege Engine, although if we do that, we lose out on our ability to do anything else. Although Force Field would be pretty nice, actually. Summon Siege Engine would be nice to just have another unit, but that Force Field would mitigate a ton of that elemental damage that's going to be cast on our units, almost certainly. Now our casters here, thankfully, can start throwing some curses, which is going to be of benefit for us, so I'm just going to step up and throw it on the Sphinx there. I wasn't really fully expecting that to work. And meanwhile, we'll move our... I think we'll move our Blight Elemental and our Flyer over this way. Meanwhile, we'll use our Big Beetle over here on the wall, maybe kind of with our Ogre, because they both have Demolish. And then Dominus, let's just double check all his abilities here. Might have actually been a good idea to throw Guardian Flame on... Yeah, you know what? I'm going to fly up and do that. I'm going to throw Guarded by Flames on the Blight Elemental, purely because the Blight Elemental does have some fire weakness. But I forgot about this. We actually have the buff from that one shrine, I think. Let's double check that. Yeah, Wicked Flames of Growth there. So that's actually a buff from one of those shrines. So I guess I didn't really even need to do that, but that's okay. I didn't remember that. Okay, Dispel there. I suppose that's not so bad, as it used up some of the casting points there. Now, did that dispel the shrine buffs as well? Yes, it did. Okay. Well, thankfully, at least we still have 0. We're not weak or protected from fire. This Reanimator's gonna be in a bit of danger there if he really moves in. Yeah, so let's just go after the wall right here. Fantastic, and then we can move our Ogre right up to assist. Our Naga Guardian can come in to hopefully scale that wall once he's able to. Now our Blight Elemental ended up basically being robbed of his ability to do anything because he lost all his movement points, so he's not really going to be of much use for this round. Meanwhile, we'll send our Flyer up kind of like this. Hopefully maybe draw out some of their attacks. That would be actually quite nice. And then our Caster, I suppose we can just drop the self-heal there. Meanwhile, Dominus, perhaps we throw a Force Field on our Draconian there. And then we'll do the same thing with our... Oh, and we got ensnared. That's unfortunate. And we got hit by Sundisk there, over there as well. Thankfully, Dominus is far enough away that he's not really taking a ton of damage. Boy, our ogres are just getting lit up in there. Well, thankfully they'll at least be able to take out the wall for us. And we can get our cavalry up in there, which is fantastic. Let's jump in like this, do some damage to these mystics first. And then move in, get the kill outright. Fantastic. Move our guardians up to assist as well. Now, our Blight Elemental can jump right in there as well, which is fantastic. And actually do some fairly massive damage. We're going to light up this Sphinx with some extra damage there. And then get the kill. Phenomenal. Now we can move our flyer in. Get a nice kill there with a critical hit. Fantastic. Oh, and we got ensnared there. That's really unfortunate, as those units are now blocking the... And we've lined up for the Sundisks, too. Ooh, they attempted to cause fear there, and it thankfully failed. Move our Blight Elemental over, turn him around. Get the nice flank kill. Very, very good. Okay, so now we gotta sort of deal with this situation. Step up, do some damage to the Sphinx as much as we can. Get the kill there with our Big Beetle. Unfortunately, our Ogre is dead, but you know, I was kind of expecting that to happen, so not really the end of the world. Yeah, though that unit being webbed right there is really unfortunate because it blocks the way into the walls there, so my casters can't get involved, which is kind of annoying. However, Dominus is now free, so... Oh yeah, Dominus can't heal himself because he's undead. I almost forgot. So we'll drop a self-heal. We'll step up and might as well reanimate Cadaver, because why not? And then we can step over here like this. Throw a weakened breath attack there. Very nice. Moving to get the kill with our Big Beetle. Ooh, not quite. So we'll bring our flyer in to get the finish. Excellent. Well, just like that, we took the Throne City, so now it's just a matter of finding Anorak himself. I'm not sure exactly where he's going to be, and it looks like, wow, this city is humongous as it's maxed out. Must be a metropolis, yeah. We're going to absorb this one. We don't want to anger the Tigrans, and there is some utility in having Tigran units, of course. So... yeah, I don't see any of his other units around here, so it looks like we're going to have to kind of move south, and you can see there the domain of one of his other cities, so I guess we'll just start kind of heading out that way. And meanwhile, I suppose we could move some of our units in just to guard the city here in the meantime. So Dominus can kind of start heading that way. Actually, may need to go over the bridge to get back in that direction. Well, that actually went quite smoothly. I was expecting that battle to be a little bit more troublesome for me, but actually not all that bad. Alright, so it's going to be another turn before we're able to really get in there, so let's just kind of move everybody up. This stack here I don't think is going to be able to make it to the party, unfortunately. Nope. Now, as for these other units... let's see, how much further can we go? That stack's pretty much at its limit. Meanwhile, we can do this, and then we can jump these units up. We can take the Warbreed as well. I think... okay, we can take a few more units as well. So we'll take the... yeah, I think we'll do this. There we go. Okay, very nice. And now we're in a pretty solid position here where you can see Krator himself. He's now respawned. And he hasn't really added any other units to the defense of this city. So hopefully next turn we're going to be able to siege him and really put the hurt on him. So let's see now. We can throw Embrace Darkness on one of our cities here. I can't remember which city I was going to put it on. Oh, yes, our Draconian city in the Shadow Realm. Here we go. Fantastic. All right, so now we can start producing some units. Why don't we start with a monster hunter? Of course, we need to finish off the observatory, but once that's done, we'll have a monster hunter ready to go. And let's send this stack up this way. Ooh, you know what? They can do this battle and grab some extra knowledge here. We'll do that one in auto combat. Yeah, a little extra knowledge, always a good thing. And I'm really not seeing any spawning structures, so I'm a little confused. I may have to continue doing some scouting now. I remember I have some units down here as well. Yes, I do. Let's just double check. Do I have any other quests that I haven't, that are in progress here? I just have End the Terror at the Mine currently. Okay. But this city may offer me a quest at some point as well. Ooh, and importantly, we now have Global Assault researched. I almost missed that. So we could just start kind of mainlining that. We'd have it in 5 turns, which would be fantastic. And that's going to be a real game changer, obviously, because that's just going to give us an extreme advantage, really. Oh, and here it is. Okay. Oh, and look at how well it's guarded. 2 Earth Elementals, a Spirit Elemental, and then 3 lesser Earth Elementals. That's a pretty tall order. We're going to have to mobilize our units there to deal with that. Currently, the group that I have here is not enough to clear this out, I don't think. So we're going to have to, as I said, try and deal with this. Okay. Tunnel our way through here. Now Haninia can actually get in here. So we'll clear out this lost library. Fantastic. Hero slaying and some extra knowledge. Sure, why not? And we can also grab, just taking a look up top. So it looks like we're probably going to want to continue over in this direction. Especially knowing what we know above ground here in terms of where the Tigran Sorcerer's city is and where his subsequent cities are going to be. We'll do this one in auto combat as well. Fantastic. There we go. Big knowledge increase. Very nice. And here's an angry Tigran city that we can go and capture. That'll be great. Meanwhile, this unit can just kind of come along for the ride in case we need more tunnels dug. Now, we have Urkan here with his stack. He was heading up this way, and here we've got... Oh, we got ourselves another Archon Revenant dwelling. Ooh. Boy, that's actually going to be a pretty tough battle for us. I mean, I think we're strong enough to handle it, but we've got ourselves not one, but 2... Excuse me, not 1, not 2, but 3 Archon Revenant Titans. Tier 4 units. Very powerful. As well as a Revenant Caster, Revenant Infantry, and a Revenant Archer. So, pretty well defended, but we might be able to take it here. That would be excellent. Alright, let's see what else we got going on. We had this one grow into a town. Of course, that happened. Rise of the Penguins is happening soon. Hawk has produced an observatory, which is great. You can see there. Now this city has a massive radius. Move this little guy back to guard the city. We did have a number of units finished production there. Again, this unit we're just kind of move up this way. I think I'm going to keep the units that I produce down here. I'm actually going to keep in the area. And that's until I've kind of successfully... Actually, you know what? They might need to join up down here so we can finish off this structure now that I think about it. So perhaps I'll send these units over that way. They can go join up. Let's see, anything else? Nothing too crazy going on. So now we can just kind of finish up all our movement and everything else we've got going on here. So we have a Bone Dragon. Just trying to think if that would be wise to send the Bone Dragon in to assist, or if we want to get the Bone Dragon kind of over here, perhaps. I think we've probably got enough forces in the Shadow Realm. Let's just go back. We look at what we've got. We do have a Magical Rider and a Warbreed. Wraith can go over the wall. In terms of Crognash's stack, Crognash is very powerful. Shadow Demon Lord is extremely powerful. King Shock Serpent, very powerful. Both of these Harvesters are extremely, extremely powerful. So I think we're in pretty good shape. I don't think we need that Bone Dragon necessarily to assist Crognash. So might actually be worth more were we to send the Bone Dragon over this way, now that I think about it. And we're going to need to eventually move down here and finish off that quest to gain the favor of that human city as well. So, all right, let's kind of jump around to our units here and just make sure that we've... Okay, here we go. We do have another unit. This is our Shadow Elf Umbral Weaver Charioteer who was moving in to assist the beleaguered city here of Umboku, of course, still under siege. So we'll just kind of move ourselves in. Again, trying to really prepare ourselves for what I'm sure is going to be a fairly nasty battle. This guy, I think we're going to, rather than send him to join that party, we're going to send him over here, try and get him involved in the fight kind of on the front lines a little more. We can move this Manticore Rider up as well. This guy can... Oh, he can actually make it as well to engage in this battle. So let's do this. Engage this battle on auto combat. We didn't lose anybody, thankfully. And now we can just kind of keep on rolling here. And unfortunately... Oh, yeah, we can have this Manticore Rider join in, so we can do that. Engage the battle there. Same thing, auto combat. When we did lose our Phalanx. Alright, so now these are all cleared out, which means I can send my builder up to... I could build a fort right here, and I think that would get me both Hearts of the Glades. And then we could build one here as well, or some combination of that. So let's go find our builder. Yeah, so I think I'm going to send my builder up this way. So it'll be a few turns till he gets there, but he can actually start building a road on his way up there as well. So we're going to build a road this way. Continue that road like this. There we go. Okay, perfect. So now we have a road connecting Carbonok kind of all the way along here, which is excellent, especially since we're using Carbonok to produce Phalanx who can't fly, so that's actually going to really improve their mobility if they need to go up that other way. Alright, let's see who else we have to move still. Yeah, this unit we're just going to tell them to hang out. Now, as for our Wraith King here, again, I think we're going to send him potentially into the Shadow Realm, maybe. That might be a good place for him to go. Again, we do have some units in the Shadow Realm who might need a bit of help. And again, Undead do pretty well in the Shadow Realm, so might actually be a decent choice to send him there. Let's see. Alright, so who else do we have? Just double checking everybody. Okay, so True Gruck. We're going to throw in the water there. Again, we're just going to do some scouting here. Some treasure we can grab. Always good. This is a giant dwelling, it looks like. So we're probably just going to send True Gruck over this way once he's got his movement points back in subsequent turns. Hurricane's done his thing. These stacks have all done their thing. Now this little stack here, they were able to successfully capture the city of Honura here, and we're in the process of absorbing it. It's a Shadow Elf city. Oh, dang, I didn't mean to do that. Whoops. That was a misclick on my part there. Well, now it's going to take a bit longer. I hate when that happens. So I accidentally canceled it, but we're going to continue absorbing it. Hopefully not going to make a big difference there. Now, we've got a spawner over here that needs to be dealt with, and it would be ideal for us to take that out when we can. Alright, let's take this structure out. Yeah, there we go. And just kind of clearing what we can here. And then, yeah, we'll head over and see if we can deal with that. So, yeah, a bit of a whoopsie there. I accidentally hit cancel. So that's going to take an extra turn to finish off, but not the end of the world. And yeah, Crognash has already moved. I think we're pretty solid for everybody here having moved, so just kind of double checking. Yeah, I think we've really moved pretty much everybody. Yeah. All right, well, let's start picking our research and everything then. So let's see here. Unfortunately, we didn't quite have enough to really give us anything in one turn. We could start working on Summon Fallen Angel, but we already have Bone Dragon. I do like Fallen Angel. I think they're a pretty solid unit, but I think maybe I'll just do Warfare. The point being here that I'm going to end up getting additional casting points really is kind of the big thing there, so I think that's what we'll do. All right, let's kind of do our production now. So we've got a decent amount of gold, but that's going to get used up pretty fast if I'm not careful. So most of these cities, we're going to just do merchandise, I think. Urgum here. It would be nice to expand this domain a little bit, kind of get this growing such that we can start encompassing these other structures, which hopefully we can have a unit go and clear out eventually. Yeah, I think maybe we'll just do merchandise for now, though. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Down to Hrim. I think maybe in Hrim we will do a Magical Rider. Carbonok, we'll do another Phalanx. Lyrian, we're going to just do merchandise for now. Bittercress, on the other hand, might be nice to at least have one unit just to guard the city, perhaps. Maybe we just do a Spearman, just to at least have something in the city there. Over to Toldran now. We had it in merchandise last turn. I think we're going to just go with Magical Rider again, because we can do those in a single turn. We're going to keep doing the Wraith King in our dwelling there. And now we're pretty much out of gold, so I think across the board here we're going to be doing merchandise. Thankfully, most of these cities are kind of behind the front lines of battle, so it's nice. I can just kind of continue using them to generate income, really sort of taking care of the economic side of things with all those cities. A few of these units are just requiring to use up the rest of their movement points here, so we'll just kind of think about... So we'll probably head over this way, I think, with this stack. Yeah, that's going to take care of that. That's telling us Crognash can still move. Well, we'll just wait up here because we want to keep at least one stack with us in case he moves out to try and attack us. Oh, nice. We can do a little bit more movement on the road. Now, as for what we're going to start summoning, we have a few options. We could use Dread Siege and throw that on the throne city of Krator, although, again, I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to handle it without that. I could throw Embrace Darkness on one of our kind of frontline cities now. Like, for example, one of our cities that we're in the process of absorbing. We're down here on Lilac, which is kind of close to the front lines. But I think what we'll do is we're going to start working on Global Assault. I'm just going to really prioritize Global Assault here, because if I can get that up and running, I mean, that's... At that point, it's going to be extremely hard for me to lose. So we're going to try and get that up and running. And that's going to do it. Excuse me, that's going to do it for our turn. So I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to surrender to me, but we'll see. Oh, he tried to disjunct Entwined by Shadows. Thankfully, he failed. That was Krator doing that. Jump back and take a look here at what he's... So he reinforced his city with another Juggernaut. Kind of to be expected there, of course. Alright, we'll just kite these units for one more turn, and then we should have enough units to be able to win the battle. And then whatever's left of our stack, I think we'll use them to go into the Shadow Realm to try and clear out the spawner responsible for making all these units. Alright. So these little guys are just gonna, again, kind of go hide in the corner as they've been doing the last few turns. Now, I'm thinking about the upcoming battle for Krator's throne, and I am going to have to be very careful because those Juggernauts do a tremendous amount of damage. They are very, very nasty. We saw in the battle last episode when I tried to preemptively take out the throne before Krator could come back, we saw how devastating their attacks are, especially their big barrage attack. I think it's like broadside or whatever it's called. Pretty nasty. Obviously, for my units, especially ones that have like any kind of fire weakness or anything like that, we're going to have to be very, very careful. All right, let's kind of double check here things that are going on, and then we will probably try the siege out first. And we did get an upgrade here for dwarves, because we've got a couple of dwarven cities now, I think. We're not using dwarf crossbowmen, so I'm going to just go for the economic, which is stone walls now give our dwarves a little bit more happiness. Gain domain invasion, turn after turn there, of course. We had a few heroes level up. We did absorb a city, and we had an item arrive for Urkan. Actually quite nice. Now he's got turn undead. That may come in handy in the upcoming battle here for this Revenant dwelling. We had another city. Okay, so that Tigran city has now been absorbed into our empire, which is fantastic. We have to decide kind of how we want to develop it here. So, in terms of structures it already has, it has a stone wall, shrine, storehouse, and a barracks. I think maybe we'll just do a builder's hall, get that extra production income going. Yeah, so as expected, he tried to surrender. Again, though, we're not accepting surrenders in this particular playthrough, so we're going to decline that. We're going to have to hunt him down and finish him off more directly. But before we worry about that, let's do our hero level ups quick. I lied there. We'll do our hero level ups, and then we will try out the siege. So, Urkan's now level 14. I think we're probably just going to focus on making Urkan here even more of a beast than he kind of already is. So we'll give him a little more resistance, give him some extra health. And how's his resistances here? Yeah, he's already pretty tough. Let's just give him some extra defense. Sure, why not? He's now extremely, extremely tough. Over to Hininia, we'll kind of do the same thing. She's already pretty tough. You know what? We'll give her a healing aura because why not? Probably don't even need it with all our healing abilities with her, but might as well. Yeah, I think that's good for her. And alright, that takes care of our hero level ups. Oops. So we're going to jump back to the Shadow Realm here. We are going to initiate this siege. However, might as well see if we can grab some items to help us out. If there's anything decent. Just a holy symbol. We will take that at least. Give us one more attack option. Alright, so let's initiate the battle here and see what we can manage. Again, we should, keyword should, have a pretty good chance of winning this battle without too much difficulty. But of course, we do have to be careful because we don't want to lose our best units if we can avoid it. And we could use spells, but I don't want to use spells if I don't have to. Use our Forge Priest here to throw a Guarded by Flames on our Warbreed, who's going to just charge right in for the walls. We're going to keep this kind of army over here on the side. Use them. There we go. We're going to use them to kind of go around this way. When our Blight Doctor could actually come in handy with his ability to throw a weaken on some of the units there. And these units are just kind of... they're just kind of there. Throw a Dragon Ancestry on herself. they're going to mostly be a distraction or just to kind of harass a little bit. Now with our harvesters, we can move them up as well. And Crognash can move up to assist along with everybody else. And I think that's going to about do it. Let's see what happens here. So he used up his Dispel. That's good. Just kind of wasting his casting points. Fantastic. You can see, though, we took a fairly substantial amount of damage from the mortar shot there. That hurt us pretty good, actually. So maybe we'll drop a heal on our Shadow Demon Lord. So we do have Demolish with the Shadow Demon Lord, so we could go after the walls. With our King Shock Serpent, we're just going to go right up for the gate. And you know what? Let's go in and attack the walls. And you know what? We'll bring our Warbreed over to help out with that process. There we go. Meanwhile, we can start blasting the Juggernaut, doing a bit of damage. And then we can send some of our units in over the walls here. Here we go. Now, I don't know. Can we use Weaken on a machine? I'm not entirely sure. Let's take a look at it. There doesn't seem to be any kind of restriction on that, so we might actually be able to do it. Which would actually help us out a fair bit. If we are able to, in fact, do that. So moving our harvesters up. Of course, our Elder is in pretty rough shape. And our larvae are not feeling so hot either. And our Forge Priest can move up. There we go. Alright, let's see what happens. Storm Tower hitting our Warbreed, of course. We lined up a little too much, so that cannon was able to do some work on us there, as you saw. Alright, well, it looks like we're going to 1v1 the Juggernaut with our King Shock Serpent here. I like my odds. And there we actually got a stun, which is fantastic. Now, unfortunately, this Shadow Demon Lord is actually in pretty rough shape, so I think we're going to... I don't know if I have any other healing abilities. Unfortunately, I do not. So we may have to actually pull him back a little bit. Although, we should be able to take out the wall, hopefully with our Warbreed. Let's see. Might not have enough damage there. Okay, fantastic. So the wall is down. And charge in with our Harvester. Before we do that, let's just do some damage here if possible. Actually, before I do that, I should have thrown a Weaken on there, but better late than never. So we'll move in with our Harvester there. I think we might pull our Lord back just because he's in, again, not the greatest of condition in terms of his health. This Harvester, we're going to have to kind of pull back. Prefer not to lose them if I can. Avoid it. Alright, so this larva is going to move up. Meanwhile, our Forge Priest can step over and start shooting at the Juggernaut as well. Priest has been blinded, unfortunately, which is kind of annoying. So we'll just have him chill out. Meanwhile, Crognash, I think we'll just kind of keep Crognash back. Alright, let's see what happens. Just reloading their abilities. Ooh, there's that mortar shot. Doing big damage to us there. You can see our Priest is in pretty rough condition after that shot. Step up with our Toadstool Fairy and do some pretty massive damage there, actually. Now, the question is, if I send my Warbreed in, would he actually be able to maybe kill off that Juggernaut? I think the answer is going to be yes. About the same chance. Well, no matter. We can finish the Juggernaut off with our Forge Priest. Fantastic. Let's step up and do some damage to that Exterminator. And then we've got Charioteer and Krator himself kind of moving over, looking at our Manticore Rider and our Wraith over here. So he might need a little bit of assistance if we can kind of give it to him. Now our Shock Serpent can just continue working on this Juggernaut. And I am going to then move Crognash in and see if I can maybe get the kill. Fortunately, don't think I can do enough damage. Yeah, Spirit's not going to do anything. Yeah, it's really not going to make much of a difference, but maybe our Elder can step up. Yeah, not quite enough damage, though. And our Larvae can't really do anything because they are blight damage. Alright, so now the question is, do I want to charge in there with my Manticore Rider, start going after this Charioteer? I think the answer is going to be yes to that question, so let's do it. We have Guard Breaker on there, which is fantastic. And then we can get the kill with our Wraith. Excellent. A little bit of lifesteal, also a good thing. Maybe I was a little conservative pulling my Shadow Demon Lord out of there, but I just really didn't want him getting in any real danger if I could avoid it. Meanwhile, we're going to step up there with that Harvester. Okay, so there comes the hero. Killed off our little Draconian. Ooh, and our poor little Blight Doctor just got eliminated as well. Alright, so yeah, we've got a couple of units to finish off, so we'll... You know what we'll do here is we'll step up, and I think with Throw Blades we can hopefully get the kill. If not, we can use our Priest here. Yeah, we're going to have to use the Priest. Fantastic. Now we can try and break the gate down. Now we have another way in, which is a good thing. Do a little bit of damage there with a nice spit. A little more. Okay. Now we have to deal with the Exterminator here, so let's turn him a little bit. Now, thankfully, they have some fire weakness, which we're going to exploit right now. Excellent. We can step up and get the kill. Very nice. Now our Warbreed can just absolutely bludgeon the heck out of Krator. There we go. And then step up and get the kill. Excellent. And now really all that's left is the Lightning Cannon, I think. Just kind of move our units in. Shadow Demon Lord can just hang out. Yeah, so we're in really good shape now. So let's grab ourselves some extra units. There's a gold medal unit. That's going to come in handy. And this one here can do the same. Hopefully, yep, there we go. Charioteer. Another gold medal unit. Very, very nice. And then we'll just kind of move in and start beating the heck out of this cannon. Yep, very nice. And get the kill. Awesome. Well, Krator is out of the game now, so we've taken Krator's throne and eliminated him from the game. Fantastic. Oh, that feels good to have him done. We got a few items here. I think we're going to be able to pretty much just sell most of these. Oh, actually, we did get Vile Tome of the Hag. Throw Curse and Steal Enchantment. That's kind of nice to have. Perhaps we... Yeah, you know what? We're going to sell off that basket. We really don't need that at this point. Extra regeneration. Ooh, you know what, though? Let's just sell that. There we go. Take this. Ooh, actually, before we take it, let's sell these off here. We really don't need them. Prototype rifle, I suppose we could use it. Just taking a look at all of our options here. I think I'd rather have the steel enchantment, though. So the rifle, on the other hand, we could send to... Let's just take a look at the other heroes and see if anybody needs that. We do not have a gun with Hininia, so we'll send it to Hininia. Meanwhile, we have a gun with Urkan. We have a gun with Trugruk. We have a gun with Dominus. So we'll send this to Hininia. There we go. Alright, excellent. So we're going to start absorbing the city. Really want to get control of it. Nice Shadow Elf city for us. So there we go. So Krator's out of the game, so we have Anorak on the ropes, and now it's just a matter of locating our final opponent. I have no idea where our opponent is, but I suspect, if we go back to the surface, I suspect that opponent is somewhere in this area where we are looking right now. That would be my best guess. kind of the only remaining area that really makes a ton of sense. So, send this Bone Dragon on down that way. We'll actually group up there, because there's a bunch of roaming units who might cause me some problems. Yeah, there we go. So turn 59, we captured Krator's throne and killed him off. Oh, that feels good. All right. 1 down and 2 to go, but 1 defined before we can eliminate him. And on that note as well, we're going to start working on our other opponent here, who we took his throne, but we still have to kill him off. So let's try and do that if we can. Send this little guy over to scout over here. And we'll leave this unit to guard the city. The Naga, appropriately named Naga Guardian's going to do some guard duty there. Now, let's see. I have to kind of decide what else we're doing. Lots of other units kind of on the move here. So our builder, again, we're sending our builder up this way. Try and take advantage of these extra casting points here from these Hearts of the Glades. It's Wraith King we were sending actually into the Shadow Realm, potentially. Let's jump to the Shadow Realm real quick. Now, we've got this spawning structure that really does need to be eliminated down here. And I think we're probably going to just kind of make a break for it with this stack, to be perfectly honest. Just kind of looking around here at what our options are. I think we're going to move back down this way. It's going to be important to just get rid of that. So I think we'll actually keep our Wraith King out of there, and we'll just send him over this way to maybe join with this stack. It's pretty good. I like that they can float, because it makes them very capable of moving around easily. In fact, that's kind of one of the reasons I've been building them, because again, if you look at where the dwelling is, it's in a position where it's not anywhere close to the front lines, so that's why I chose them over the giant, the Archon Revenant Titan, excuse me. Couldn't remember the name of it for a sec there. Alright, now, I don't think I have any kind of control undead or anything like that, so I may end up just doing this battle in auto combat. There we go. Whew, almost lost this big beetle. Not quite. Alright, so we will start absorbing this Revenant Dwelling. Not that we're necessarily going to really get to take advantage of it, but we could go clear out this Shrine to the Spider Queen. Might wait a turn, though, until this big beetle's got a little more health before I try and run an auto combat. We'll grab that Shrine bonus there, at least. And let's jump back now to what we've kind of got going on over here. Well, there we go. We've got a structure to go clear out, so let's see if we can take that out. And then, yeah, we've kind of got now a path that's been explored over here. So now we have a way to get True Gruck over to kind of over to the front lines here by just following this underground path if we want. And I think I may do that. Let's jump back up to the Shadow Realm here. So now we've got to kind of divvy up our units here. I think we'll maybe send... We're going to have to find a way out of the Shadow Realm. That's one thing. Oh, and actually, I should have maybe gone to clear out this glass furnace. When this is a frost tank here, you can see. Kind of cool. Rather than being the flame tank, this is the one that you'd... A frost tank you'd typically see on a Frostling Dreadnought, which is pretty cool. So it might be nice to clear this out. Well, we can. And actually, here, look at this. One of our Shadow Demon larvae turned into a Shadow Demon Harvester. The other one turned into a Bombard, so that's pretty cool. You know what? I think we could send this stack over, maybe along with the Harvester, and we should be able to clear this out without too much trouble. Yeah, there we go. Very nice. This little stack can kind of move in as well. There's actually a number of cities around here that might be worth kind of moving in to see if we can just gain control of all of them. I think we'll just have these units sit here on the throne. And this Bombard could perhaps go join that stack. Now, what to do with this little stack? I guess we'll move down this way. We got some other structures to clear out, so take care of that. All right, let's jump around here and take a look at our units. Now, this guy, we've got this unit moving in to reinforce in the Shadow Realm, which is a good thing, obviously. Now, this one might be nice to actually have a unit over here to do some work, so I think we'll start working on doing that. There we go. Okay, what else do we have left to do here? Did meet a dwelling. I'm not interested in even dealing with them at this point. Finished off Warfare, so we got a little bit more casting points, which is a good thing. Now, Heninia here, we can do some work with Heninia, so let's clear out this structure. Do an auto combat. I think we're just going to sell that for gold, rather than taking that little hat that we don't really need at this point. And I think Heninia, yeah, Heninia does have some headgear, so don't have to worry too much about that. We'll equip her torso gear there so that when it arrives, she's already wearing it. Just start clearing these structures out, one by one. Gradually just moving ourselves over to this city here that we want to get control of. Very nice. Okay, now, can't quite go any further, but we can basically park ourselves right there. This unit can just kind of join in as well. Okay, now with these units, we got to figure out what's the game plan here as well. So, Ziggurat here, probably a little above our pay grade. That being said, if we group ourselves up, let's at least go take a look. You know what? It's telling us probable victory. Let's just do it in auto combat and see what happens. Fantastic, we didn't lose anybody. Excellent. Look at this. Mythical leg gear. Silver Sabatons of Speed. +2 defense, +4 move points. Mystical Crown of the Mermaid Queen. You get True Sight, +1 resistance, minor bard skills, and Siren's Wail. Whew. That's pretty solid. I am going to take these rewards. Now I got to figure out who needs them, if any of my heroes even need them. So let's grab one of my heroes and just kind of look. So we've got ourselves headgear. So we're going to have Strong Will and Vision Range for Dominus. Not bad for him, because he does have Spirit Weakness, so that would be kind of nice. But it might be nice to have all those other things, too. Actually, you know what? This Mammoth Fur hat really isn't doing me a ton of good, aside from the Frost Protection, of course, being kind of nice. So maybe we send it to Crognash. Of course, we're loaded up on items at this point. Might have to sell off one of these items. Or alternatively send an item to another hero, so maybe we do that. Yeah, Urkan doesn't really have any magic attacks that I can see here, so we'll actually send him the Holy Symbol. So let's send that to Urkan there. At least now we've got a slot for Crognash. Yeah, Urkan's got a pretty good hat. Trugruk's hat is really not that exciting, so it might be worth giving him a better headgear item. Aninia's is pretty good. Inflict Despair is pretty solid for her, especially as that increases her rate. Can potentially increase her odds of getting a successful conversion, as it imparts Spirit Weakness. So let's take a look at this. So, yeah, we're going to send the hat to... When I forgot to look at leg gear. I think we'll send the hat, actually, maybe to Trugruk. His is really quite... not that good for him. Yeah, we'll give it to Trugruk. Now for the leg gear, I should have done that while I was in the process of jumping around. Let's check that one more time. Pretty good legs here. Slacks of Sorcery. I'm going to keep that for Dominus. Pretty solid ones here. Insulated Boots for Crognash. Decent ones for Urkan, although the ones that we have are now better, so maybe we'll send them to Urkan. Really, really good ones for Trugruk there. Very, very nice. And Haninia's is decent as it gives defense and pounce. So, yeah, I think we'll send that to Urkan, as it's basically just a straight upgrade for him. Current ones give him +2 defense. These give him +2 defense and some extra movement. Sure, why not? Let's send those over. I'm really glad I did that battle, actually. That worked out really well. Alright, so yeah, we're just going to, again, just sort of keep on sending our units kind of to the west here, as, again, we're anticipating that our opponent is somewhere over here. I think we're going to call it an episode right there, actually, as we accomplished quite a bit in this episode. You can see here, again, we've pretty much dominated the map at this point, aside from this one little chunk over here. Underground, we're gradually expanding what we've explored. Again, our opponent, I suppose, could be underground over here, although I'll have to explore both kind of eventually, so... And then we do have the Shadow Realm as well, and I suppose our opponent could be over here in the Shadow Realm, although I think that's probably unlikely. But I can't remember what race our opponent is, the final remaining opponent, so we'll have to see. So as I said, we're going to save it right here, though. One thing I am not looking forward to is that Archdruid appearing with the Penguins, as that's going to basically just start sieging all of my cities, and I'm sure I'll end up losing a few. I actually need to remember that because my throne city is currently basically unguarded, so I don't want to do something stupid and end up losing my throne. So that's a good thing to remember, kind of a last point for the episode. I need to really guard up my cities a little bit, especially my throne, in preparation for the Archdruid hero appearing. And again, if we go and look at just real quick now that I've saved, we go and look at Hrim, you can see I actually don't have any units there, although we do have a Manticore Rider being produced. So yeah, we want to make sure our throne is guarded up and we don't end up losing it. But in any case, I think that's going to do it for this episode. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.